Northwest of Reno, Nevada, a wildfire is ripping through the hills so fast that firefighters can barely keep up with the numbers. The Hawk Fire sits at 0% containment this morning after exploding from a modest 30-acre start to more than 10,500 acres in under 12 hours overnight. More than 1,000 homes are under threat. A major federal highway is completely shut down, and over 41,000 households have lost power. This is everything you need to know about the Hawk Fire right now, how it got this bad this fast, what conditions look like on the ground, and why today's forecast might actually be more dangerous than last night was. Stick around because there's a lot to unpack. Let's start at the beginning, because how this fire behaved yesterday is a case study in exactly how wildfires turn catastrophic in a matter of hours. The Hawk Fire was first reported around 11:25 Saturday morning, August 22nd, near Hawk Meadow Trail in the Somerset neighborhood of northwest Reno. It ignited on U.S. Forest Service land within the Humboldt-Toyabe National Forest on steep, rugged terrain along the slopes of Peavine Mountain. Within its first half hour, tracking services already had it at 30 to 40 acres and were warning of a high potential for rapid growth. That warning turned out to be an understatement. By 3 p.m., the fire had ballooned to 2,500 acres. By 7:30 that evening, it had passed 8,000. And by 11 p.m., federal fire mapping put it at over 10,500 acres, all gained in a single day. 3 ingredients drove that explosive growth: wind, humidity, and fuel. All 3 were about as bad as they get in northern Nevada yesterday. The National Weather Service had a red flag warning posted across much of the region through 11 p.m., and it wasn't an overreaction. Relative humidity in Washoe County bottomed out around 12%, bone dry by any standard, while southwest winds ran 15 to 25 miles per hour, with gusts as high as 40. That's the textbook recipe fire officials watch for. When low humidity and strong sustained wind combine, fires can outrun the crews trying to respond to them. Truckee Meadows Fire Chief Richard Edwards summed it up Saturday night. This is a highly dynamic incident, and wind is the thing driving it. Those winds push the fire northeast through the day, sending it toward North Virginia Street between Seneca Drive and Copperfield Drive, directly into populated neighborhoods. Then came the moment that changed everything. Saturday night, the fire jumped U.S. Route 395 near Peppermint Drive. When flames cross a major highway like that, it almost always means wind is carrying embers hundreds of yards ahead of the main fire, a phenomenon called spotting. It's one of the most dangerous behaviors a wildfire can exhibit, because it can render containment lines useless before crews even finish building them. So what does all of this mean for the people actually living through it in Reno, Verde, Somerset, and the surrounding communities? Governor Joe Lombardo has declared a state of emergency for Washoe County, putting every state agency to work through the Emergency Operations Center. The Washoe County Sheriff's Office has issued Level 3 Go Now evacuation orders for multiple neighborhoods, meaning leave immediately, don't wait, don't pack up first. Those mandatory zones include Somerset Peak, South Mountain, Sierra Canyon, the Peavine Back area, and the broader Somerset community north of Somerset Parkway. Saturday night, additional Go Now orders were extended to the area between 7th Street and McCarran Boulevard. One tier down, Level 2 Get Set evacuation warnings, meaning be ready to leave on short notice, now cover Golden Valley, Lemon Valley, Stead, White Hills, and Panther Valley. The danger isn't stopping at the state line either. Evacuation warnings have been issued across into California in Sierra County zones SIE E024 and SIE E061, covering Long Valley south of Highway 70. If you're in any of these zones and haven't left yet, please take this seriously. Wind-driven fires like this one can change conditions with essentially zero warning. Now, road access, because this matters if you're anywhere near the area this morning. U.S. Route 395 is closed in both directions between Parr Boulevard and Red Rock Road. The primary north-south route through the region is completely shut down. All northbound traffic is being stopped at Parr Boulevard, and northbound on-ramps between Parr and Bordertown are closed. If you're evacuating from north of Red Rock Road, you'll need to head north on 395 to get out. Southbound off-ramps between Red Rock and Parr are also closed, so stay on the highway until you reach Reno proper. Nevada State Police are on scene directing traffic. Follow their instructions if you encounter a checkpoint. On the power situation, Saturday night, NV Energy made the call to de-energize transmission lines in the fire area as a precaution to keep those lines from acting as a corridor for the flames. As a result, more than 41,000 NV Energy customers across Washoe County are without power this morning, with no clear timeline yet for restoration. The outage rippled into Northern California, too. Roughly 37,000 customers across the Truckee and North Lake Tahoe region lost power overnight, including about 15,000 Truckee-Donner Public Utility District customers and around 22,000 Liberty Utilities customers in Glenshire and Loyalton. One more important detail, the emergency room at North Valley, an extension of Northern Nevada Medical Center, has temporarily closed because of the evacuation order. If you're inside the evacuation zone and facing a medical emergency, call 911 and they'll direct you to the nearest open facility. Also, and this matters, Reno police are specifically asking people not to call 911 simply to report the fire or ask general questions. Those calls tie up dispatch lines that need to stay clear for actual emergencies. For live evacuation maps and zone boundaries, check perimetermap.com or emergencywash.com. Those are the two official real-time sources right now. Let's talk about the response effort, because there are close to 400 personnel out there fighting this fire as we speak, and they deserve real credit. Truckee Meadows Fire and Rescue is leading the incident, backed by the Reno Fire Department, the U.S. Forest Service, the Bureau of Land Management, and the Nevada National Guard. Air tankers and helicopters have been working the fire around the clock, with C-130 and DC-10 aircraft reloading fire retardant out of Minden Airport and Truckee-Tahoe Airport, operations that ran straight through midnight Saturday. Incident Command has also pulled resources off the bug fire, which is now more than 80% contained, to reinforce the Hawk fire response, and an additional 10 engines, 2 dozers, and 2 hand crews have been requested from CAL FIRE in California. As of Saturday night, BLM says the operational priority is protecting lives, communities, road corridors, and utility infrastructure, not yet a structure-by-structure defense. And it needs to be said plainly, local officials have confirmed some structures have already been lost. A full damage assessment will take place over the coming days. Now let's shift to what's ahead, because the forecast for today, Sunday, August 23rd, is genuinely concerning, arguably more so than what drove last night's explosive growth. And remember, this fire remains at 0% containment as of this morning. Overnight, the region did not see meaningful humidity recovery, a critical detail. In a healthier fire weather pattern, overnight humidity typically climbs back into the 30 to 50% range, which is exactly the window fire crews rely on to make real progress building containment lines. That recovery didn't happen here. Poor overnight humidity means the fire has essentially stayed active through the night, with little to no natural slowdown for crews to take advantage of. Overnight lows only dropped to around 61 degrees Fahrenheit, barely any cool down at all, meaning fire crews are getting almost no relief before sunrise. This afternoon, the National Weather Service is forecasting a high near 92 degrees, with west winds of 5 to 10 miles per hour and gusts up to 20, more than enough to keep an uncontained fire active and spreading. Incident commanders warned overnight that today's conditions are expected to support continued fire growth, an assessment coming directly from fire managers on the ground, not just the Weather Service. And looking further out, forecasts show highs staying in the low 90s through at least Thursday, with no significant pattern change and no rain anywhere in sight. Combine that with afternoon wind gusts near 20 miles per hour, humidity holding below 20%, and a fire that remains completely uncontained, and you get a fire perimeter that's still very much capable of new runs, new spot fires, and new evacuation orders as the day goes on. Now let's zoom out for a second, because this isn't just about one fire. It's about the conditions setting Nevada up for fires like this all season long. Every part of the state is currently classified as at least abnormally dry, and much of it is in active drought. Temperatures across western Nevada have been running above average, with forecasts calling for the extreme heat to persist through the end of August and possibly into September. There's also a factor most people outside the region don't think about: invasive cheatgrass. It's a non-native, extremely flammable grass that has spread across millions of acres of Nevada rangeland. It grows fast, dies early in the season, and ignites with almost no effort, creating a near-continuous blanket of fine, dry fuel across the Great Basin. That fuel bed is a huge part of why fires here can move so fast, and it's exactly what's carrying the hawk fire across the landscape right now, combined with drought and relentless wind. Nevada isn't dealing with just one fire either. The whole state is under strain. The Mouse Meadow Fire in Nye County is currently the largest active fire in Nevada at roughly 52,000 acres and about 80% contained. The Stallion Fire, also in Washoe County, has burned close to 40,000 acres and sits around 81% contained. The Quail Springs Fire in Lincoln County is at 13,600 acres and 95% contained, and the Ward Fire in White Pine County is at 96% containment. Those numbers are encouraging on their own, but the real concern is that the Hawk Fire is brand new, explosive, and sitting at 0% containment in the most densely populated part of the region. This is also happening while firefighting resources across the entire western U.S. are stretched thin. Nearly 29,000 personnel are currently deployed nationally, and more than a dozen fires across the West have burned over 100,000 acres each this season. It's shaping up to be an intense, resource-heavy fire year nationwide, which is exactly why mutual aid, like the crews and equipment coming in from California, matters so much, even though staging and deploying that help takes time. On air quality, if you're anywhere in the Reno-Sparks metro area, the Sierra Nevada foothills, or the Lake Tahoe Basin today, expect significant smoke impacts since the fire is burning upwind of heavily populated areas, and that smoke is going to keep pushing down valley. Check your local air quality index before heading outside. Anyone in a sensitive group, kids, older adults, people with respiratory conditions, should limit time outdoors as long as the fire is active and smoke is in the air. If you're near the fire but not in an evacuation zone, keep your windows shut, run your HVAC on recirculate, and have a go bag packed just in case. The University of Nevada, Reno has confirmed its main campus is not currently inside an evacuation zone, though university leadership is monitoring the situation closely. Students, faculty, and families connected to the school should keep an eye on UNR's official channels for anything that could affect campus operations. For evacuees who still need somewhere to go this morning, the Reno-Sparks Convention Center Hall 4 at 4590 South Virginia Street is the main open shelter right now. The Evelyn Mount Northeast Community Center on Valley Road has already reached capacity, so head to the convention center instead. If you have large animals, horses, goats, livestock, contact Washoe County directly for animal evacuation resources, and please don't leave animals behind if you're under an evacuation order. For anyone who needs a room but can't get into a shelter, Silver Legacy, El Dorado, and Circus Reno are all offering emergency rates around $59 a night. So here's what to watch for over the next 24 to 48 hours as this keeps developing. Wind is the single biggest variable right now. If it stays elevated tonight, crews will have almost no realistic window to build effective containment lines. Keep an eye on updates from the Washoe County Sheriff's Office and Truckee Meadows Fire and Rescue through the early morning hours, since new evacuation orders could come quickly and with little notice. The most critical stretch today will likely be the afternoon, roughly noon to 7 p.m., when heat, low humidity, and wind all peak at the same time. If you get an evacuation order today, act on it immediately. Don't wait to see if things get worse, because with this fire they can, fast. The bottom line this morning, the Hawk Fire is a fast-moving, wind-driven wildfire in the hills above northwest Reno, and it is nowhere near done growing. 0% contained, over 10,000 acres and counting, more than 1,000 homes threatened, 41,000 plus without power, a major highway shut down, and a forecast this afternoon that could make things worse before they get better. To every firefighter and emergency worker out there right now on the steep terrain of Peavine Mountain, in the smoke, doing this work through the night, thank you. And to everyone in Reno, Verde, Somerset, and the surrounding communities, nothing matters more right now than your safety. Please follow every evacuation order you're given. This is a fast-developing situation, and updates will keep coming through the day as conditions change. Stay safe out there.